I'm calling the meeting to order as chair of the Plymouth Selectboard. And this meeting has been publicly noticed. This meeting also is compliance with Governor Sununu's emergency order number 12, allowing the select board to meet electronically using Zoom video conferencing software. And instructions for connecting to the meeting are at the Town of Plymouth's website. This meeting is also being streamed by Pemmy Baker TV, but there is a 30-second delay with a stream versus coming in real time using Zoom. All votes by the board will be by roll call, and when I call your name, you will answer either yes or no.
Publicly noticed. Meeting also is compliance with Governor Sununu's emergency order number 12, allowing the select board to meet.
Yes, that's a 30-second delay. Yeah.
That's going to come through.
Neil,
Yeah.
can you turn your TV off? Sorry, or turn it down, because it's
Okay.
coming back on us. Can you hear Bill okay?
Yeah, I'm just gonna shut my computer off.
Wonder if
As long as
I
you
don't
can
know.
hear
I'll see if I can turn it down.
mute him for now.
Okay. Is that better?
No, I can still
Nope.
hear it.
Okay. All right. I'll just knock it out.
no, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Bill.
Okay, Zach, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, I guess I will.
Wait a minute.
This is weird.
Go for it.
Stand up, Bill. There you go.
There we go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag
of the United
of the United
States
States
of
of
America,
America,
to the republic for which it stands,
and
One
nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty
liberty,
and
justice
justice for all.
Thank you. As I did mention, that these will be roll call votes. The first order of business is approval of the minutes. And we have a March 23rd work session meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
make a motion, we accept the minutes as written.
Okay, let's move by.
Second.
Who seconded it? Oh, Zach. Zach seconded it. So I'll call your name. You'll either say yay or nay. Bill Bolton, yay. Marianne Barnsley.
Yeah.
Neil McIver.
Yay.
John Ranlett.
Yay.
Zach Terrell.
Yay.
Okay, the motion passes. The second item is the March 23rd regular meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the March 23rd regular meeting minutes as written.
Okay, Zach Terrell moves. Is there a second?
Second.
John seconds. Bill Bolton, yay. Marianne Barnsley.
Yeah.
Neil McIver.
Yay.
John Ranlett.
Yay.
And Zach Terrell.
Yay.
All those in favor. So therefore, that motion passes. And the motion is accepted. The select board will meet on the following dates. We have a regular meeting that's going to be at 6 p.m. on Monday, April 13th, and Monday, well, April 27th. Work sessions prior to the regular meeting will start at 5 p.m. At this time, all the above meetings will be via Zoom. You can find dial-in information at the town's website at plymouth-nh.org. Citizens wishing to be listed on the select board's agenda should notify the town hall before noon, the Friday before the scheduled meeting. And on new order of business, we have Anne Hebert, Finance Director, regarding a lock-in bid from Meredith Village Savings Bank. Anne, you want to discuss this?
We received two low bids of 1.75. This is on the $2.5 million bond that was approved at town meeting. We are asking the board to accept our current bank, which is Meredith Village Savings Bank, for a 10-year bond. We'd like to get that started.
Okay. Okay, that's a very attractive rate. That's kind of nice that they were able to go so low. As everyone has a copy of this, and have you had a chance to review it? And if so, is there a motion?
I make a motion, we accept the 1.75 fixed rate for 10 years on the $2.5 million bond from Merited Savings Bank.
All right, motion by John. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thanks, Zach. Mary Ann Barnsley, yay or nay?
Yay.
Neil McIver.
Yay.
Oh crap. Any discussion? Let's discuss this. This is kind of significant, actually. Does anybody have any input on this before we do vote?
So I'm curious, how did we go from 2.5 to 1.7?
Because the rates are dropping.
Oh.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that we just like wait until it gets down to zero and with no necessary payback. It could happen, but and there's no requirement that we expend all 2.5 million, obviously, as well. And we're constantly looking for additional monies that we could throw at our needed expenditures, either by grant or whatever. So, but still, it's pretty attractive.
So what happens to that extra money that was voted on? You're saying it's going to be put towards something else?
No, 2.5 is the item, 2.5 million. But there might be other monies that we could utilize that might be coming in through a grant.
I see.
We've identified many different expenditures that we have to have done, and we can find alternative monies to do some of those without the need to expend that 2.5, the total of it. Any other discussion? All right, so we'll do it again. Mary Ann Barnsley.
Yay.
Neil McIver.
Yay.
John Randlett.
Yay.
Zach Terrell.
Yay.
And Bill Bolton, yay. The motion carries. Thanks, Ann. And next up is Paul Freitas, Emergency Management Director, regarding Orange Ribbon and Light Campaign. Take it away,
Good
Paul.
afternoon, Mr. Selectman. As I did during Desert Storm, I had come before the board, and we had a yellow ribbon campaign in town when our National Guard unit got deployed to Iraq. I would like to come before the board and ask for support in an orange ribbon campaign. This will be an orange ribbon and light campaign. And if you were to look up the color orange, I'm just going to give you a few definitions. There's a lot. It's on the internet, so it must be true. Encouragement, enthusiasm, success, happiness, emotional endurance, and optimism. After coming through town last week to check on the streetlights at night, I had noticed Tuesday or Wednesday night that the town just looked dead at night. It's not our town. It's not Plymouth. It's not what we're used to seeing. We have first responders going home from the hospital. Some of Michelle's people, they don't all live in Plymouth. They leave late at night. We have some people coming from Concord back into town. And when I saw that the town truly had looked dead, I just remember what we did during the Desert Storm days when we were praying for our troops to come home. And after looking up the colors and then remembering that the color blue is for police, and you see the flag where you see a one line, blue line through police, you see a red line through the flag for fire. And there's a flag out there with an orange line through it, and that's for search and rescue. And I just feel this is a time that Plymouth needs something that we could do as a family, we could do as a community. It's not going to cost anything. I'm not good at making orange ribbons. I wasn't good at making yellow ribbons. But I know we did a real good job back then. I'm just asking for support from the board. I had talked to Mary Ann Bonze about it, and the businesses on Main Street, she can jump in at any time on her thoughts on it.
Yeah,
It's
I
just-
think it's a great idea. I can't imagine the businesses not being supportive of it. I can't make a ribbon to save my life either, but I'll get my 13-year-old to do it.
And I did see that there's an abundance of orange ribbon online. It's one of the things that's not being taken off shelves. We can put orange lights in the candles that we normally put in our windows. And I was asking for permission of the town manager and the board of selectmen. There are some key places in town on town property that I could light up orange. And just want to do this as a community. It's something that when we look down our street, we can see the bows, we can see the ribbons, you can put them on telephone poles. When you're doing a pickup, whether it's pizza or ice cream, you can tie a ribbon around a tree on the common. I remember the common being loaded with yellow ribbons at that time. Because we're going to beat this, we're going to beat this invisible enemy, and then we'll take the ribbons down.
Okay.
Just your thoughts.
Well, I think it's a great idea. Anybody else or?
Just wondering, how do we promote it? We've done it in the past, I guess, Paul. So how does that work?
We actually didn't have all of this in the past. I mean, we can promote it right. We're promoting it right now. We can put it on the website for the businesses. We can put it on our webpage. We'll run it on TV. And I think as the lights and the ribbons start to pop up, it starts to promote itself. The yellow ribbons took off on their own. It's just the board of selectmen welcoming people to do it.
Any other discussion?
As I recall, the yellow ribbons were kind of a national campaign. Paul, are you aware of any sort of national campaign around this that we would be aligning with, or is this something?
No, and that's why I wanted to do it, Zach, actually. I think you're going to be the first, and I think Plymouth's been the first at a lot of things. I'll tell you, down in Florida, when there was a school shooting, it was used at that time, and that's all I could find, and you're more than welcome to see if anybody else is doing. I looked around, I don't see anybody doing it. If it spreads from Plymouth, more the better. Let it start from here.
I would just say, having done a lot of these campaigns, that I don't think it necessarily matters, but orange is the color for kidney cancer awareness. Yellow was the traditional color from the old song, tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree.
And if it's not felt to be a good idea, I'm fine. I mean, you can pick any
Right,
color. I know that it's been used dozens of times, hundreds of times for many different things. We've only have so many colors. It's just a thought. I was tired that night. I went to pick up some frozen dinners up in Holiness to deliver to some of our seniors coming through at night. I think everybody's seen that view of downtown Plymouth from Holiness. And it's all lit up and it's in an amber glow and it looks beautiful until you got into downtown and the streets were dead.
Hey, somebody just joined us. It's area code 808-358. Can you identify yourself, please?
Hi, the 358 number, I think that's me. Mike's son, Plymouth Town resident.
Okay. Hey, Mike.
Hi, is this the open question and answer period?
Not yet.
Or
no, we'll be getting to that probably like, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but you could still join us if you want.
yeah, I don't mind. I just had a question for the open Q&A session, that's all.
Okay. Well, you can just sit back and chill for a bit and we'll open it up for Q&A in about 15.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Mike. So
I think orange is great. I mean, there's definitely a lot of other representations, but I don't see anything that's like gonna be a major conflict. So, you know, like you said, there's only so many colors. Seems like a good unifying thing to do.
anything else or anyone else? So does this require any more research to make sure that orange might be the most appropriate, or we're all pretty comfy with that?
I'm fine if you want to wait a week on it and we research it more. I was researching the color, and nothing negative was coming up about the color orange. Then I went online to see if anybody was making bows and doing it national, town-wide, statewide, anywhere. I didn't find that. I did find an abundance of orange ribbons. I found orange ribbon lapel pins that you can buy. Orange ribbons for antennas. It's I didn't pick the color. The color picked the event, I felt. Orange is supposed to derive itself from the strength of red and the happiness of yellow. So, like I said, I am sure it's been used before for other things. It was used for the shooting down in Florida. I could not find out why that was picked for that time. I can also say that I did find one negative, and only, so those are the two things. The negative one was also used for anti-guns because of the same event.
Right.
So Florida is the only place that I could find orange ribbons being used for anything. Like I said, I am sure it's been used. I could not find out why that was picked.
Okay. That's. So in any event, is there, you're not looking for a motion, or you prefer a motion on this, or?
Oh, support. I am asking for permission. No, I would start with the town hall. I would redo the cannon red, white, and blue during Christmas time. No, I'd do the cannon up in orange, and I'd put the lights in the windows at the town hall and encourage people to do that at their house. I just felt it was something that we really not supposed to be moving around that much. Almost everybody in town has something in the front of their yard they could tie a ribbon to. The pickups that are being made downtown, you are allowed to drive around. Still practice your social distance, but they said we've had them on parking meters, telephone poles, trees.
So real quick, in looking at Google, it says orange combines the energy of red and the happiness of yellow. It's associated with joy, sunshine, represents determination, encouragement, and stimulation. It's symbolic of strength and endurance. So it just sounds like a good
We need
choice.
all of that.
Yes.
Yep.
And Zach, you've been looking it up, right, for the last couple of minutes?
Yeah, I looked at it a little bit too. It
Right.
all seems fine to me.
I don't find anything, Mr. Chairman, that jumps out at us that's negative.
All right.
We could take them down.
True. All right. So
I mean, if we want to look for negativity, we'll find it. I think we have enough of it right now. And it's going to be a tough couple of weeks coming up.
Right.
I was just looking for something happier to do than what these last few weeks have been like.
Yeah, it feels like a good unifying activity.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm looking for.
Okay. So do you want to move? Does someone want to make a motion?
I make a motion that the town adopt yellow ribbons and lights
Orange.
for homes and the town.
Oh, yeah, orange, John.
Orange.
I'm sorry, orange.
Okay.
I'll second that motion as
All right.
orange.
Thank
John,
you, Zach.
John moved, Zach seconded. So therefore, Mary Ann Barnsley,
Yay.
Neil McIver,
Yay.
John Randlett,
Yay.
Zach Terrell,
Yay.
and Bill Bolton, yay. Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Very good. Well, thanks, Paul. Okay. Now we go into the, actually, the select board is going to address certain public service announcements that we'd like to make, and this will be on PBTV. And there's quite a list, and we're going to break it up between the select board members just to read them off, if that's acceptable.
So my printer died, so I have an excuse right now.
Okay. From memory then, Marianne, you can read the first line. Well, so how about if I kick it off, okay? So therefore, the first thing actually I want to like bring up is, which is going to be, probably something that will need to be done, is for people to wear masks. And it's not really universally addressed in this town, but I'd like to see like more masks being worn. And regretfully, I actually brought this mask with me when I came to town hall earlier today, but I had it in my hand. I didn't wear it. So in any event, it'd be kind of nice to promote the use of mask wearing and wear a mask whenever you go to the store or whatever. So that would be at least my first announcement. I'd like to see that being addressed. Secondly, we are in this situation for the long haul, and as we prepared for this meeting, not only things have been changing daily but hourly as well. So be assured that the Board of Selectmen are monitoring the situation, and the coronavirus is in Plymouth. We've had a couple of reports, and infected persons are following CDC's guidelines to prevent further spread of the virus. We have our town manager, fire chief, police chief, fire chief / health officer, and emergency manager following this problem 24/7. And they're working on keeping up with Plymouth's needs and keeping our safety as a priority. They report back to us with the problems that they are being faced with and the actions that are being taken to counter these problems. We are receiving state and federal guidance from the federal and state government agencies, including FEMA, Homeland Security, and the Department of Health and Human Services. We have heard from the government that stimulus money is available, and its distribution at this time is at their discretion. Actually, it's not quite at their discretion. They're actually going to be meeting at Joint Fiscal Committee on the 10th. And everybody should probably stream that, because fiscal is the first step in order to accept and expend the money. So that's going to be a significant meeting on I guess Thursday, right? Whatever. These are busy times, and we need your patience. We've had multiple concerns as a community, and you have multiple concerns and questions as individual citizens of the town. Please rest assured that all of the above are working and handling these occurrences and concerns. We've had to take steps to assure that the above department heads, along with the first responders under them, are kept safe and healthy in order for them to continue to do their job. They are not only trying to help protect you from the virus, but they also continue their everyday duties and protect you in other ways, in other areas that are needed to be stayed on top of for your overall safety. Would anybody else care to join me in reading, these?
I can do a couple.
Good.
Such steps as having to close some departments to the public, including the town hall, are parts of things we've had to do to reduce the exposure to these for our employees as well as the public. Email at townhall@plymouth-newhampshire.org, or the telephone 536-1731 is still one of the safest ways to reach us with your needs and concerns. It will still get you through the town hall. Your concerns and questions will be answered as quickly and as best as possible. Our website, plymouth-newhampshire.org, is updated on a regular basis as things continue to change minute by minute. How many of these you want me to do, Bill?
That's a good question. Why don't you hit the next one?
All right. As of this meeting, you are still able to get your trash out of your house and to the recycling center. Please continue to practice social distancing when doing so, and respect the fact that there has to be some conditions in place on what the recycling center can take in, such as stuffed furniture and mattresses, as an example. Some recycling, such as plastics, may have to be limited at the moment, but don't hold on to your trash. Take advantage of using this service and ability to keep your place of living clean and safe.
John, you want to read a few?
Sure. The police department is offering food deliveries for housebound individuals who reside in Plymouth. You can reach them at 536-1804 or check their website for more details. www.plymouthpd-newhampshire.org or their Facebook page. The town's assessor has put off all pickups until a later date when the stay-at-home and social distancing order has been lifted.
Actually, John, that's been updated. Kathy sent an update that he is going to be in the area periodically over the next few weeks.
Okay.
Doing exterior only pickups of any building permits and new construction completions.
All right. Thank you. You want me to do a couple more?
Sure, please.
Yes. Most businesses in Plymouth remain open to serve your needs. It's recommended that you call ahead due to potential limitation of service. Businesses are being offered an opportunity to do a public service announcement, such as this one, to advise the public of availability to provide services to the public. The fire department's health officer, Tom Morrison, and also Speare Memorial Hospital's Dr. Ebner will be asked to give another update soon.
All right, thanks. And this just in, actually the town clerk's office is temporarily closed to help decrease the spread of COVID-19. You may renew your motor vehicle registrations, dog licenses, and request vital records online at the town website or send a check-in by mail. You may also file for a marriage license, but you must contact the town clerk first to set an appointment. Residents with a new vehicle purchased by private sale should contact the Department of Motor Vehicles to book an appointment for temporary plates, and vehicles purchased by dealers should come with a temporary plate. Temporary plates are valid until April 30th of this year. And dog licenses must be renewed by April 30th of this year. Please visit the town website to update any rabies vaccination information and renew dog licenses. You may also send a check-in by mail. This information is collected by the Department of Ag. Residents with any unregistered dogs after April 30th will receive a notice. And for more information, contact the town clerk's either office or Facebook page. You may also call them at 536-1732 with any questions. And this one's an easy one. Get outside. The weather is good, but please follow the stay-at-home rule and stick to your own properties. Remember to practice social distancing, 6 feet of separation, and take all necessary precautions to protect yourselves and your families. Upcoming meetings are still scheduled and will be available by Zoom. Dial-in info for future meetings will be available on the town's website. Zach, you want to do a few more?
Sure. We need your patience and your understanding to come together as a community to help us, help you through these tough times. Everyone has their individual parts in helping us fight the battle against this invisible enemy in order for us to win the overall war. Making the healthcare system work takes discipline. Please follow their instructions, watch the guidance given on television by very qualified doctors that are collectively trying to get a grasp on this issue. And actually, Dr. Ebner's update went on the website earlier today, so definitely check that one out.
Okay, Mary Ann, you want to state anything that might come to mind that we haven't discussed, or?
No, if any businesses are listening, I think we've been talking quite a bit. There are some financial aids out there, little cumbersome, certainly taking some time. One of them is the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program. That's being coordinated through local banks. I know my Bank of New Hampshire is doing it. They have to be, they need to be SBA loan approved and working with the SBA to begin with. And there are some, I know Bank of New Hampshire will deal with people who don't have an account there. I believe they give, not preference, but they'll deal with folks who have accounts there first. So once again, that's Bank of New Hampshire. You can go on their website, but I'm sure there's plenty in town, if not a little further out, SBA loan as well. You should go directly to SBA. You can request a loan there. There is a even if you're not approved, there is a $10,000 grant forgivable loan as long as you meet certain criteria. That's available as well. For self-employed, the unemployment agency is waiving that. So even if you're self-employed, you can apply for benefits. Those are, I think it's maybe NHUIS. Just Google New Hampshire unemployment. It'll take you there. Once again, a little cumbersome, but certainly worth it. And what else are we doing anyway? So I think that's it from them. And like we said before, a lot of the restaurants are open. So call ahead, check their times. There are some, I think of Simply Sunflower off the top of my head, where she's jewelry and accessories, and she's doing a lot of that online. Jamie is. So there are some creative ways, some yoga that's done via Zoom. So certainly check out your local stores and support in any way you can. That's all I have, Bill.
Yeah, catch Marianne on Main Street on PBTV. That's great. In any event, Mike, your time has come. The Select Board is meeting tonight for a question and answer session to respond to any questions or concerns you may have. Also available to answer your questions will be Police Chief Steve Lefebvre, Fire Chief and Health Officer Tommy Morrison, and Emergency Management Director Paul Freitas, Superintendent of Schools Mark Halloran, CEO of Speare Memorial Hospital Michelle McEwen, Vice President of Communications, Enrollment, Student Life Marlin Collingwood. And Mike, Mike's son, do you have any questions that you might want to ask?
Yes, I do. So first off, I just want to thank the officials and all you guys are doing during these times. Mr. Halloran, Superintendent Halloran, for the work you're doing with the SAU 48, the families and the students, the hospital for all your care as well, and Marlin for your work with the PSU leadership for the students and the faculty and staff there as well. My question actually is just for Chief Morrison, and I apologize if this is kind of aside, but I was just wondering with residential burn permits that we get through the fire department, I noticed that there was a note on the door saying that we can get them by going to a New Hampshire website, but when I go there, it asks for a specific day that you're going to do the burn, as well as a $3 fee. And I'm just wondering, is that $3 for the entire year, or is that $3 for the day?
If it's a seasonal permit, that's good for the whole season.
So all I'd have to do is select for the seasonal class 2?
That's right. And that'll cover you for the whole season.
Oh, okay. Okay. I do have one quick second question. I'm just wondering if the town is in any way enforcing any kind of social distancing.
Dave, you want to weigh in?
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you that we haven't really had to enforce it. We have informed people about it, and we have photocopied a bunch of the governor's orders. And when we find people too close or in too big of numbers, we hand out the orders, give them to them, and educate them on that. And we haven't had any negative feedback by doing that. And everybody's always been compliant every time we've done it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that and all the work you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Be good, Mike.
So, our guests, do you want to, state, I guess, give us an update on what your, give us updates.
I can start because I have to jump off a little bit before 7 for another call.
Here you go, Marlon.
So we have approximately 48 students that remain on campus in our residence halls, in one residence hall actually, and those are students who have nowhere else to go. Either they're international students or there's students who have no safe home to go to. So we have moved them all into private rooms and private bathrooms in Merrill Place and the student apartments. We are still serving them 3 meals a day through Chartwell's, our dining services provider. They are now doing order and delivery. And we remain in remote learning mode for all of our students through the end of the academic year. We have approximately, I would say on a given day, we probably have 25 to 30 employees that still come to campus to do essential services. And beginning today, we are providing them with any kind of PPE that they need to make sure that they're following the guidelines. I will say this, I go into Speare every morning for a couple of hours with President Burks. It's probably one of the safest places in town because there are very few people there, and you kind of know who you're going to see every day. But all of our buildings are closed to the public, including the library. All of our buildings are still open for faculty and staff with their IDs. We do have some faculty that come in to teach their online classes from their classrooms. We have postponed commencement. We have not canceled it. We are anticipating that in the next 3 weeks, we will be able to announce that commencement will happen in the fall, and we're working on that. We are looking at 3 options for fall. The Board of Trustees has asked all of the New Hampshire system schools to look at 3 options, one being we open as planned, and everything happens as it normally does. The second option is being a hybrid model in which we're allowed to have some students come back, some remain remote, and we do a combination of in-person and remote classes. And the third option is that we stay remote for the fall semester. We anticipate that we will be able to, all of the details that we're getting and models that we're seeing from Washington. And if you don't know, we kind of have a direct line to the White House with President Burke's sister Deb, who is the coronavirus coordinator, Dr. Deborah Burks. We really believe that we're planning for a fall start again. And that's important to us. I think it's really important to our students and to the town. But again, all of that can change on a day-to-day basis. I'll let Michelle talk a little bit more about the ice arena, but it is ready to go with some heroic work from Plymouth State, Speare Hospital, the National Guard, Angel Ekstrom. I was down there today, and it's a pretty impressive operation that's ready for our community. And I think the way it was literally stood up, I told folks today, it was literally 1 month ago that we were playing a hockey game in that arena against UMass Dartmouth. And to think that literally in less than 4 weeks, it is now ready to serve the community, I think is a great testament to the town, a great testament to rural New Hampshire, that's what we do. We come together and do those things. So we're pleased about that. And the other thing is we have set aside about a total of about 45 rooms in 2 of our residence halls to provide overnight respite accommodations for first-line healthcare workers and others, and quarantine rooms in another dorm, residence hall for first responders, frontline healthcare workers who might have to quarantine. That's all being done through the State Department of Health. We've been working closely with them, and we are also prepared to provide meals both to patients that will be utilizing the Speare site at the ice arena and in both of those residence halls should they be needed.
Thanks, Marlin.
And I just say one other thing. I know there's been talk, Facebook's great. Facebook's frightening sometimes. Lots of talk this weekend on Facebook about our horrible off-campus students who are not social distancing. I will say a couple of things. We do have several hundred students that remain in their apartments off campus. We cannot tell them to go home. They have leases. Many of them have tried to get out of their leases, but that has not been the case. They've not been able to do that, so they're staying there. I believe, and we work closely with Chief Lefebvre and Steve Temporino. While those students are still socializing, I think we're working hard to make sure that they understand that they need to do that responsibly. But they, as renters, are residents of the town of Plymouth, and they're not under our jurisdiction to tell them what to do and not to.
Hey, Marlin, just a quick question too. I sent you an email about the census.
Yes, Bill, I got that. So we did send out an email to our students. We didn't send it out. It was we forwarded an email from. We've been working really closely with the census folks out of New York. That's the district that covers New Hampshire. They had been on campus numerous times. We have 6 student census coordinators who are hired by the census. They are continuing to do their work remotely and reaching out to students. So we have, it's a concern that we have, and I know that the census has as well, that those students who we would have been counting on April 1st in all of our residence halls are now at home. And we're trying to let them know that they still need to fill out the census based on the fact that they are residents of Plymouth State University in Plymouth, New Hampshire. Right. I'm not sure how much good that's going to do, right? I think it's important. We're hearing from the census folks, actually, that they're putting together, and I think they're supposed to come out next week, some updated guidelines for college students. As soon as we hear about that, we will let our students know as well.
Okay, thanks. It's probably kind of late because, once the kids are home, the parents are looking over there. Yeah, he's right here, so... I'll claim
so we tried to get that message out around the 1st of April to say that to parents as well. So we have a pretty active parent portal that we talk to about 3,000 parents. So we kind of inform them as well. Again, depending on what they do, I'm afraid most of them aren't thinking about the census right now. So that may be a good thing. Maybe they'll when they do think about it, they'll fill it out correctly.
All right. Thanks, Marlon. Does that segue into Michelle? Do you want to give a statement?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm happy to give you an update on the preparation Speare Memorial Hospital has been making. We're looking at all facets of healthcare that we deliver here. So just this week, I am happy to announce that we did roll out telehealth so that patients will have the option to be able to do virtual visits with their physicians. They just need to call that practice and set it up, and there'll be an app that they download, and then they can do a virtual visit. Today was our first day going live with it, and it's gone very, very well. If you come to the hospital, you'll notice that nobody can get in without being screened. We've limited our entrances to just two entrances, our main entrance, which has limited hours, and you'll be greeted by 2 nurses that will ask you some questions and maybe even take your temperature to ensure that anybody entering our building doesn't show any symptoms of flu-like symptoms or COVID. And we don't have we do have a restriction on visitors. There's only minor exceptions that visitors can come into the building. So it's really only patients and staff that are allowed in at the moment. Our other entrance over by the emergency department, we are trying to make sure that we separate patients that might be affected by COVID with those that are coming for other reasons. So we have a tent set up, actually 3 tents set up in our parking lot, which will be sort of a triage process. We trialed it. It's working very, very well. We just don't have a lot of volume right now, so we are actually screening at the canopied entrance of the ER, and those that are non-respiratory related will be walked over to the ambulance entrance. That will be what we call our non-COVID entrance to the hospital. And then those with respiratory will proceed through the canopy into the front lobby of the emergency room. Within the emergency department, we have split that in half. So there is going to be a side for respiratory illness patients that could be suspect because it takes a while to confirm a COVID. So we have to treat them all as presumed positive. So there'll be one half of the ER dedicated to that. The other half of the ER will be dedicated to non-respiratory. doing the same thing up on our inpatient floors. We're a 25-bed hospital. We are in the process of trying to get to 40 or 42 beds to accommodate an increased need for inpatient care. And again, the inpatient floor will be split between respiratory illness and non-respiratory illness, and they'll have dedicated staff, so we don't have staff going back and forth. In the event we have an increase in number of patients requiring ventilation, these will be those that are severely affected by the coronavirus. I mean, we would probably keep 3 of them up in our ICU. Once we hit 3, that's our trigger, and we would move all those patients down. We call it our ambulatory surgery area. It's where there's private rooms that patients used to be prepared for surgery, or after their surgery they recovered. And that will become a temporary vent unit, and then we'll be able to take about 7 or 8 vent patients there, but they'll all be congregated in that area, and those are only going to be the COVID and COVID suspected ventilated patients. And then the additional overflow is what Marlin mentioned, which is the site at Plymouth State University Ice Arena. We have 96 beds set up there. Our hope is that we never need that, but we're setting up about 40 of them for individuals that will still need oxygen, not ventilation, but oxygen, low flow oxygen. So these are people that maybe have low symptoms, low severity COVID, so that it's just a little bit of oxygen, 1 to 2 liters over a few days, and then they can approve to be discharged home and finish their recuperation there. They may be patients that came from the hospital that have made some progress with their recuperation, but need some more hospitalization. So those will be over at Plymouth State University as well. So they're really more of the low severity patients that we'll take care of there. Just want to remark, we couldn't do this without the partnership that we've had with PSU, with Public Health, with National Guard, and really our whole community to make this work. I hope we never need it, but I want everybody to understand that there's been a lot of work in trying to get this prepared so that if we do, it's ready to go. So I'd entertain any questions if anybody has any.
Thanks, Michelle.
I just want to add, it's really, we're in a, the Speare site at PSU, and Michelle, unless something's changed, I believe we are the only site in New Hampshire that will provide oxygen. The other so-called, acute care sites or off-site care sites do not have that ability. And I think that says a lot, and every other site is really being set up with 2 or 3 hospitals in mind. And because of our location, and I think the great partnership that the community has, we have this amazing site that's for our local hospital. And I have to say, I think it's a testament to everybody in the town and in the community.
And I have the same understanding, Marlin. We will be the only ones that offer oxygen at the alternate care site.
Very good. Thank you. Any other questions? Or Mark, do you want to provide an update as well?
Sure. Thank you. Hello to everybody.
Hey, Mark.
We're in a remote learning situation at least until May 4th. What that means is that our teachers are working with all of our students, K through 12, online. There's a platform called Google Classroom that most of the teachers are using. And it seems to be going as well as it can. It's not school, but at the same time, given the circumstance, we feel pretty confident that we're certainly doing the best we can, and we certainly appreciate all of the families. It's not easy to quickly adapt to your own life, and then on top of that, please be monitoring your students and things like that. So it's pretty difficult. The buildings are closed to everyone. We got a jump on that very early. We cleared the buildings very quickly. The only exceptions are the principals are in and out of their buildings, along with some food service folks and also the custodians. So without anyone being in the building, our custodians right now are doing deep cleans in all of our buildings, so that if we have the opportunity to come back, there won't be as much work to do as if we weren't doing anything. So we've managed to keep everybody on the payroll. Everyone is doing something. and has rolled up their sleeves and is really helping out. In terms of how long this is going to go, we don't know. I mean, Michelle and Marlin see a lot more than we do. All I do is sort of listen to the governor, and my sense is that we probably will have extension beyond May 4th, but whether it's for the rest of the year or not, I don't know. But I think we'll be going through May 4th at least, and then probably longer than that. We are discussing right now, the school boards this week are voting on amending the calendar. We've been surveying our parents and students, and the majority of them want to skip the April vacation that's planned for the last week in April, continue to go to remote learning, and then knock 5 days off at the end. So we're looking at June 10th and 11th for most of the schools in the SAU, June 17th out in Waterville Valley because they started after Labor Day. In terms of the seniors, right now we haven't canceled commencement, but we're certainly talking about it. We are committed to having a closure for the seniors. They deserve it. It's their moment in time, and we will be doing something. What that is, we don't know yet. And the prom was scheduled for that first weekend in May. That's been canceled, and we will hopefully do a social event, particularly for the seniors, so that when they do leave us, they have as I said, a closing and some closure to everything. I want to thank everyone. We're working with the hospital and Michelle and her folks. We've sort of cleaned out the nurses' offices and health OC area in the high school, and all of those supplies have been given to the healthcare folks in the community. We're a backup in case that the high school and Plymouth Elementary are backup facilities in case of a catastrophe. And our relationship with both Tom Morrison and Steve Lefebvre has been outstanding, and we work hand in hand on a daily basis. I do want to tell the selectmen how wonderful that relationship has been with our school and our school resource officer, Jill Carroll. It's been a home run, I think, in both the elementary school and the high school. And I think for Jill's relationship and the police department's relationship with young people in our community. So that's one of the bright spots right now. Because I've watched Jill interact with kids since the buildings have been closed, and they literally light up when they see her coming, and that's a testament to her good work and everything that she's done in both of our buildings. Not to get into the mundane of it all, but an upside of this could be that we are hoping to maximize our unreserved fund balance at the end of the year. We're prorating a lot of contracts, obviously, and we'll get some significant incremental savings in a lot of areas since the buildings are not being used. So we'll really work hard to collect all of those funds that aren't going to be used, and they'd be used as unreserved fund balance to offset the tax rate that'll be set in the fall. So we're very cognizant of that in all of our districts. The short-term economic outlook is not good, and so we're very cognizant of that, and we know, more training goes on down the town hall, but we want to help out as much as we can to get that number as high as possible. So I'd be happy to respond to any questions at all, and I know Tom will talk a little bit about playgrounds and basketball courts and things like that. But I'd be happy to respond to any questions that anyone has with regard to schools.
Mark, as a parent of a teenager, your teachers, your principals have been fantastic. We've had to put a little structure around it for our daughter, but it's amazing. It really is. I know with my daughter, She got right into Google Classrooms, used to it. Teachers have been very responsive. It's been very impressive. So thank you.
Thank you, Mary Ann. And there'll be, hopefully there'll be a little more structure with the new schedule that we announced on Friday. There'll be two real on days, and then a makeup day, a planning day, extra help day on Wednesday, and then finish the week with 2 days. So we're trying to add some structure, Mary Ann, to as each week goes by, we seem to get better at remote learning.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I wanted to just quickly echo Mary Ann's comments. With a 8th grader and a 5th grader, your schools are doing a great job through a very trying and complicated time. So thank you.
Thanks, Zach. I appreciate it. I appreciate your question at school district meeting too. Sometimes that's just nothing much goes on, but you had a good question about process, and I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Bill.
I do have to jump off, gentlemen and ladies. So if no more questions for me, I'm always available via email, cell phone. Call me anytime.
All right. Thanks, Marlin.
Thank you all.
See you.
Cheers.
Tom, you want to say a few? Tom Morrison?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Do you have anything to add to that, or?
Good evening. Yes, I have a few announcements. This is a good time. By the way, we had never intended to close the recycling center for refuse. We realized what a public health nightmare that would be. We had only intended to close the office, the public office space. The Parks and Recreation Department has some postponements they wanted me to mention, including the fishing derby, t-ball, the talent show, and the running club. Please check their Facebook for more up-to-date information. As Mark mentioned, in conjunction with the school district and the Parks and Recs Department, we have closed the playground equipment at the school. This includes basketball and tennis courts, as well as the playground equipment at Fox Park. This does not include the grounds. We want people to be able to go out and exercise and use the grounds themselves, but not the equipment. The Plymouth Skateboard Park is also closed. Regarding childcare, the state is offering an emergency program designation if you are operating as a child care provider as a result of COVID-19. Please check their website or contact me as the health officer. We license those or sign off on that license as well. We can help you with that application. If businesses have specific questions regarding the executive order on what is an essential operation, the state has a good website for that as well. It's www.newhampshireeconomy.com, and they can help you wade through what is an essential business, and they also offer exceptions if you can prove the need. As most probably saw, the governor issued an executive order today effectively closing hotels and motels with the exception of vulnerable populations and essential workers. I haven't studied that yet, but we will, and we'll be working in conjunction with the police department to monitor that. That's all I have for the moment, and would welcome any questions, comments, or concerns.
Sorry.
Mary Ann's dog has a question.
No. Thanks, Tommy.
You're welcome.
And Chief Lefebvre, do you have anything to offer anymore?
I don't have much more to offer. Just want to let you know, John already mentioned it, the food program we have going on. We partner with Gowan Realty that we take food orders for people who are stuck in their house or anybody over 65. And what you do is you call the PD. All the information is on our Facebook page. You can get that there. Call the PD, place the order. We forward that to Gowan Realty, and they send out volunteers to go shopping for everybody. It's been successful thus far. You know, and we've kind of shifted gears as a police department. Our calls for service haven't dropped a heck of a lot, but they have dropped a little bit. And you know, we're focused more on checking on people, checking on businesses now. We've making sure people have food. I partnered with Lisa Ash and her family to get people who need food and can't afford food, get them food. And of course, Jill, thank you, Mark, for those nice comments about Jill Carroll. But what she's focused on too is making sure that some of these kids are getting food and getting fed. And a couple of them had some problems with logging on to the Google Classroom, and she actually went to their houses and helped out to get them online.
Great.
Right. Bill, could I mention one other thing?
Yeah.
We are doing food service for families and kids. So all they need to do is, if they're not involved in that right now, all they need to do is go online and email Dan Rossner in our office. Dan is our business administrator, and he's overseeing food service delivery in all of our SAU districts. So students are getting breakfast and lunch through the school district based on the federal guidelines. So Dan would work with any family that is in need of that. So I'm sorry I didn't bring that up in my spiel, but that's available.
Very good. Thanks, Mark. And Brian, do you have anything to offer as well, or are you just like waiting?
Just lurking? No, as you know, I've been suspended. I'll be back. Things are proceeding apace. We did hold a planning board meeting last Thursday virtually, and as you can remember, it was a bit buggy, but people got the gist of it. I think as we become more and more familiar with this software, it'll be less of an issue. Essentially, what is happening in the outside world in regards to building stuff is that if we can safely accommodate an inspection with social distancing and all the guidelines, especially on new construction where the people haven't been living in the home, I'd be more than happy to do that. Also, the governor recommends through his order number 23, I believe, that if folks who are in the process of building continue to build, photo document that there will be nothing held against them later. They've always operated under the assumption that they had to be code compliant in the first place. So this just reinforces it. Fortunately, at this time of the year, things are really slow. So that kind of lends into it, even though that we're looking forward to some major openings. But, you know, the things are proceeding apace, though slower than usual. I mean, mostly it's been because of my enforced distance from town hall. But I am able to handle things from email, and I've been keeping in contact with Tommy, for example, and with Kate. So if anybody needs that, just have them contact Town Hall, and we'll pretend that it's business as usual.
Very good. Anything from the conference table? Or we're pretty much through?
I think we're good.
Okay. All right. Well,
Neil, are you still there?
I'm here.
Do you have anything you want to say? Want to add?
Well, I've had a number of people express concern to me about large groups of young people congregating in the off-campus housing neighborhoods, and you know, they're really concerned about the prospect of having you know, an outbreak of COVID-19 with the, you know, the failure of people to follow the guidelines that the governor has laid out. And we, you know, we just don't know how many of these people really do have, you know, contracts to live there, and how many just kind of go in and out. And, you know, the license plates are from 10 different states. And, you know, the travel habits are disturbing. That's my concern.
Well, I think we heard Marlin mention earlier that at least he's aware of the problem. Also, Chief Lefebvre and Temporino. So it kind of is what it is, and they'll just have to make sure that they kind of obey the rules. But Chief Lefebvre, do you have anything more to offer, or is that?
No, other than I can, maybe quell some rumors, but there hasn't been any large gatherings, so to speak. We've had addressed a couple of people, groups of, 15 or 20 people, and have educated them. And every time we educate them, they seem to follow the rules after the fact. And we do work close with the university. We do report to the university all the students' names and stuff that we have contact with whenever we have a situation like this. Myself, Steve Temperino, and the judicial office there at PSU have been very helpful.
So that's pretty much it,
I
right?
have one other question. I've had a few people inquire with me about the status of Market Basket and why that hasn't opened. Do we have any updated information on that?
I guess it's me. As far as we were able to determine, while the building is good to go, it was a voluntary decision on the part of the owner to not open. They haven't given us any guidance yet. I had heard, I was out of town when, just prior to the original grand opening, and I had heard that they were stocking other stores with the dry goods that they had in there. So, I mean, the fact of the matter is, they are 100% ready to open as far as the town is concerned, but it's they're probably neglecting to do, not neglecting, but foregoing the decision to open just to maintain the social distancing guidelines.
Okay, I was thinking that having both an additional supply line for that sort of stuff into our town, but also, effectively spacing out the grocery shoppers in one more building would actually help with our community's social distancing. But that may not be true for the Market Basket employees per se.
The few times that I've had to go to the stores here, and I tried a few of them, people were maintaining their social distancing. It wasn't that crowded, even on normally crowded days. So, it's not I guess they could get the food back in and open if they needed to. But, I can't dictate their business.
Sure.
And certainly if they're erring on the side of caution, we can't fault them for that.
Hey, Kathy, do you have any more information on that, or is that?
I don't at this time, no.
Okay. All right. Well, in that case, I want to thank our guests for, being part of the Q&A, and this will go out on PPTV, so I'm sure that'll probably generate more questions from people that weren't able to call in. But anyway, I'm sure we'll get back to you. And is there any additional item on the agenda? There was a space for non-public, or we're all set?
Yep.
Okay.
We're good.
Well, in that case, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Mary Ann made
I'll second it.
Neil seconded. Wow, okay. In that case, Mary Ann, aye or nay?
Aye. Yay.
Who says nay? Nobody? Okay. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.